Superpowers is something that I am quite certain, in one form or another, preferably in all forms, one can develop. Now, here's something that I want to state about these superpowers. This quote in Spider-Man that says, "With great power comes great responsibility," that's true in more ways than one. And what I mean by that is not only would you have to use these abilities for good, but I also mean that in some cases, if you don't use these abilities for the proper intention, you can be set back, because there are laws that only that govern the universe, regardless of whether you want to say that they are put on us by God or the Anunnaki or what. The point is, these laws exist, and good karma is not determined by money, nor is it determined by being poor, but rather good karma is determined by a combination of, it's basically determined on how advanced you are mentally, physically, spiritually, mostly spiritually, and intellectually. These abilities, now I know a lot of people, they talk about levitation, they talk about walking on water, turning water into wine, these type of things. And these things can be looked at allegorical, but they can also be they can also be looked at. I strongly advise caution taking these literally, but I do believe that in some cases these things can happen. How is this possible? Well, it has a lot to do with your development, your full development as a human being. It's a collective effort. I'm not as advanced as some people might be, but diet can play a role, right? Nofap definitely plays a role. Yoga plays a massive role, right? Certain breathing exercises and meditation and, concentrating on that which is. There's a certain level of dimension when one becomes intellectually balanced, when one becomes, emotionally and spiritually mature in such a way, and when one holds their essence in a certain way through retention, right? Not just semental preservation, but other forms of preservation that allow certain forces to work for you. And Sadhguru talks about this. Now, what a lot of people get wrong, they get wrong that that once you achieve these things, you'll just be able to do whatever you want, and you'll become like the Mashiach, the one that's referred to in the in the Bible as Jesus. You're not going to necessarily be like him because he came from an advanced level. Right, he was where you're at right now. He was there probably about 18 million years ago. Probably longer than that, probably a billion years ago. He was where you're at now. Okay, this is a long path, but you can definitely make significant improvements, and even in some cases, physical abilities can be managed in this life. But it is important, mostly, that these psychic abilities, if you develop any of them, that you turn them upwards, so that they be transmuted into higher inspiration. The main purpose of abilities, gifts as they are referred to in the Bible, through meditation and walking in the path of righteousness, is not always to use them. Some of them may need to be transmuted even, because the path of life, the path of the higher inspiration, the path that Jesus took, right? When the serpent, the power, tempted him to use these things for selfish reasons, he said, Shaitan, get behind me, meaning get behind me, adversary, get behind me, that which tempts me, that which accuses me, get behind me, right? This was to lift this into higher inspiration. As a matter of fact, what he says when this force is tempting him, he actually says to it, man does not live on bread alone, but every word of God. It's talking about divine inspiration, and it's also talking about, it can be talking about energy in a more scientific point of view, but from a philosophical point of view, it is talking about the, what's the word, the higher inspiration. Higher inspiration and higher intuition, which is connected to the higher self. And it is not about, selfish things. No one's going to walk into the higher realms and demand powers, and come back and rule this realm. That's not going to happen. So, all this dimensional merge stuff completely misses the mark. Completely. This rapture stuff completely misses the mark.